Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas. We'll meet in a meeting in City Hall Council Chambers located at 1716 West Main Street, Gun Barrel City, Texas, on Tuesday, November 19th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. I will now establish a quorum. Roll call from my left, please.
Burns here.
Evans here.
Jacobs here.
Person here. Foster here.
We have a quorum. Hearing there are no citizens' communications at this time, we will move to new business. 4A, board applicant interviews. I'll now turn this over to Dr. Smith, our city manager.
Mayor, we will start with our board application. I think they are in your packet in order. I believe first up is Gilbert Shelby, and then Rob Ray, and then Robin Sikora, and then finally Charla Johnson, if you would like to call them up to the dais. Once we've completed all 4 interviews, council will then move down to the table so we can talk about appointments and how they're going to be appointed and discuss those interviews. So,
Mr. Shelby, if you'd like to approach the podium. Thank you, sir.
Hi. I'm not certain how this works. Do I give a stump speech or do I answer questions?
Stump speech.
Stump speech? Okay. Good. I like speeches. My name is Gilbert Shelby. I am a proud member of the Willowwood POA here in Gun Barrel City. We've had a house there in Willowwood since 2012, but we moved there full-time back in 2022. Since that time, we tried to jump into our new hometown with both feet. We've tried to be informed citizens, coming to as many council meetings as we can, board meetings, new developments, keeping track of ordinances, doing that sort of thing, as well as trying to do volunteer work. We both retired, which precipitated the move, so we've got some free time. And one of the things that came along with that was about a year ago, I put in an application for an open seat on the park board and was honored to get accepted into that. It's been a wonderful thing to do, and that's something that I really enjoy doing and something that I intend to continue to do as long as you'll have me. But with that experience and with a little bit of encouragement for some other folks, I wanted to put in my hat for an open seat on the P&Z as well. My career was in engineering, and engineering does not really come with anything directly tied to planning and zoning. But I do think that my career experience and some of the skills that I think I have present well in that setting. One thing is I'll have a learning curve, but I think I'm a quick learner. I think I'm good at comprehending kind of more complex things that may arise. The engineering side in me, I think I'm a good problem solver, and I approach it from a logical sense, versus an emotional, and you need both. But I'm the geek that can sit in and do the logical side. I'm enthusiastic about trying to help, and I do think that the P&Z is a very important position. And I also intended to mention I've got decades of experience being on various committees and boards and things like that, so I'm familiar with the setting and very comfortable in that type of setting. In my mind, for the next handful of years, there's going to be a lot of proposals and decisions and things like that are made at the P&Z level, at the EDC level, at the City Council level, that are from the growth that is absolutely going to come our way. And that with that, the more that we're able to manage that growth so that we make sure it's moving towards the vision we have for the area, and the more that we can do things that are good for the city as a whole, the better we're going to serve the city. And I think that's exciting. I think a lot of exciting things are happening already, and more exciting things are on the way. And I would love to be a part of that if I could be. How's that for a stump speech?
Wonderful.
I would just like to say thank you for everything that you have done for Gun Barrel City. You have become a huge asset. You're involved everywhere. You participate and go to all of the events and everything, and I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
I will echo that. Your leadership, Gilbert, is one of those that you can give him not very much direction, and he will come back with great detailed answers, and your service has been a great asset, and we appreciate everyone that serves in a city capacity, but you've been a really great leader, too.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I agree. Thank you.
Well, I want to do more interviews. Thank you.
And any other questions for you? No. Thank you. Mr. Ray?
Oh, sorry. I'm Rob Ray. I'm applying for a spot on the P&Z. Most of you know part of my background. I was asked by a city council person in a phone conversation what I would bring to the P&Z. And it took me back for a second. You know, how do you make a difference on the P&Z? And my first reaction was, my grandfather always said, if you ever meet a man that thinks he knows everything, you've just met a fool. My talent that I would bring to the P&Z is more along the lines of, I know who to call. I know how to get answers. I buy and sell ranches all the time, way more than anything in Gun Barrel. And it is not being all-knowing and all-doing. It's being able to find the right person to get the right answer, whether that be CPA, lawyer, whoever. And I do have those connections. Other than that, I think the other thing that I bring is a familiarity with city government. My dad was on the Dallas City Council for years. I've been on this council for several years. I know how it works. I know what happens. And I think there needs to be in the city of Gun Barrel, there needs to be a selective process when you deal with developers. You have to realize that the developers are always in it for themselves, no matter what happens, no matter who's got anything. If you have money in it, you're looking out for yourself. You have to have the wherewithal to read contracts, read addendums, read performance agreements, and be able to know, or at least find out, what this could conceivably turn into. And very bluntly, I think the city has made some very severe problems for themselves in the last years. And I think I might be able to help with that. And that's about it. Been a business owner in Gun Barrel for over 20 years, lived around the lake for 30, lived in Gun Barrel for 15. So that's pretty much me.
Well, I'd like to thank you for coming forward as a businessman to take a position or be interested in a position like this. We have far too few of those kind of people willing to serve that are business people in the community, and I think that's very vital. I know you've had a lot of experience dating back many years with EDC and the council. I appreciate your knowledge, and again, I want to thank you for being willing to put your name forward.
So I have a question. So it's my understanding that last year you and Jay Burson went to the Bullet Bar, and your comment was you'd like to put all the council people in a car and blow them up. So knowing that that's evidently how you feel about the council, why would you want to return to city government?
First of all, I don't believe I ever said that, but if I did, it certainly wasn't in this building, and it certainly wasn't anything that was for public consumption, for lack of a better word.
But if that's evidently how you feel, is that correct? You're saying, I understand you did not
No,
stay in this building.
no, I don't. I think that the council as a whole, I think that at one point there was not a movement, but a strategy, I guess would be a good word for it, to limit the powers of the city council, no offense, but towards the mayor. The charter of our city is very clear. The mayor is a figurehead, the council makes the votes. And that's the way it's been for years and years and years. And I think that got skewed a little bit. And when I say that, I think I say that more out of respect for council than I do disrespect for anybody else. So I guess that's the way I'd answer that question.
And in the past, I possibly could agree with what you're saying about the direction into which the council was running. However, that statement was not made with the old council. It was basically made with the current council with one exception.
Again, I will say I don't remember making that statement. That doesn't sound like something that I would say, but I feel like Matt Gates up here.
Well, I just want to know, I mean, if that's how you feel.
I mean, you can't deny
I
what you don't remember happening, so, but if your question is how do I feel about this council presently? I think they need to step up and do their job and demand the kind of respect that they're due.
And you don't believe that the current council is that correct?
I can't answer that because I haven't been to enough meetings, to be honest with you. I don't watch the videos. I don't come to the council meetings, at least for the last year or so, for no other reason other than I've just been busy. So I haven't kept up with it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mr. Ray, as a figurehead, I'd like to ask you a question if I could. So you said that there has been recently some developments or projects that have not been great for the city. Would you care to elaborate on those, please?
No, actually, I wouldn't. For a very good reason. Things have already been signed, things are already done. They're done. There's no sense in rehashing them. There's no sense in, I gave my opinions when I was on council.
I appreciate that. And I will just echo that I would agree that no one drives their car looking in the rearview mirror. That was the past. But I would also ask you to keep an open mind that this is a current council and I am a current mayor. And there are a lot of different things than what went on in the past. And if we continue to keep rehashing the past, I don't think we were ever going to be able to move forward. But that's just
I'm
my
not
2
here to
cents.
rehash the past.
And I appreciate you very much putting your application in. Any other further questions?
Well, I just want to ask, how would you do common sense support? I mean, both things is common sense.
I think that when you are in a position where you're on a board like that, you tend to get caught up in the personalities and things that really don't matter. Common sense to me is reading a contract and going, this contract is not good. And how you fix that is you go back and you renegotiate, redo it, or whatever you have to do. But common sense would tell you if you put your personal opinions into it, you're probably not going to come to the best conclusion.
Further questions? Mr. Wright, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, Robin Sikora.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Robin Sikora. I've been a permanent resident here since 2019, so fairly fresh, but we did visit quite often before that. I've been involved in government, as you all know, here in our city, as well as some cleanup efforts with the Adopt a Highway program and Beautification Committee. As a resident, I am concerned about thoughtful planning and zoning moving forward with our city, and that is the reason that I would like to apply for this board.
Discussion? Questions for Ms. Sikora? None? Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
Next up, Charlotte Johnson.
Good evening. I'm Charlotte Johnson, and I have lived in Gun Barrel City since 2019. I'm married and have one son that's a Plano fireman and have 3 grandchildren. I have a remote bookkeeping business, and I also work for Tamarack Property Owners Association and serve on their board. Some of my duties with Tamarack is to make sure the residents confer with the covenants of our neighborhood and also collect and gather permit requests from our residents to submit to our permit committee. Before that, I owned a retail steel business for 12 years in Collin County. And also, before Gun Barrel City, I lived in Kaufman for 24 years, where I served on numerous boards and committees, some of them being the Kaufman City Scarecrow Festival, the Kaufman County Free Health Care Clinic, and PTA president for numerous years in Kaufman. I am currently a Parrot Head member here in Gun Barrel City and have just started donating my time to the Gun Barrel City Toys for Tots organization. In my hobbies, I like to do jigsaw puzzles, travel, and of course spend time with my family and especially my grandchildren.
Questions for Charlotte?
What would you see as your role in the P and Z? How would you propose to function in that group?
Well, to be honest, I don't have any experience in P&Z, but I want to contribute to the community, and I want to see us to continue to grow and strive in ways that benefit our environment and the people of our community.
You said you owned a steel in Collin County. That caught my what?
Wiley Steel.
Okay, thank you. What do you think the future here is in terms of growth of Gun Barrel? Do you think we're on a track here to have unbridled growth? Are we about to be discovered? Or have we already been?
I think we've already been discovered. But I do know that we'll continue to grow. That's inevitable. But I hope that in our growth that we can continue to keep our small town feeling that we have.
But it seems like this council and the P&Z are probably going to lay out some guidelines in the very near future that may impact future growth here for a number of years that are going to be followed by other developers. And I do agree with the previous candidate that if I were a developer, I'd be looking at for number one, it would be me. I think our job is to look out for the city. And so sometimes those mesh, sometimes they do not.
Correct.
That's what we got to that's where we have to figure out how we can best manage that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Further questions? Thank you, Charlotte. At this time, 4B, I will ask the council to move down to the tables for discussion regarding board applicants and appointments.
I think that's how we did it. I think once you
Yeah.
filled all 3 spots, then that.
When you're done. That's a, those are the
I don't know if
ones
that's
canceled,
actually
those
fair.
are done.
I was told in the past that it was in the order in which the applications came.
Was how they voted, you talking about?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's how they went in the order of the vote.
I know it's how in the order of they are, that's how they are in the packet, that's the order they were received.
The only exception to that, and I can have Janet give you the exact order, we allowed Gilbert to interview first. Gilbert has an event in Tyler, and he wasn't gonna be here, but he was here, and now he jumped up and ran because he has tickets to the Cirque Holiday in Tyler. And the hard tickets to get are very expensive, so he did show up tonight to his interview, but he did leave his minute his interview was over. But I can get that name order exactly from either Janet or Brooke, the order they came in. But following Gilbert, everybody was in the order, so it likely was Rob, Gilbert, Robin, Charlotte. But I'm not, Janet can get that to us. I'll have to handle it that way.
I think that would be the proper way to do it. I mean, you have no other way of figuring out who goes first.
Unless you do the lottery or something, that's fine, whoever got to be first.
Well, what we did last time was discuss here and come to a consensus on which 3 of the 4 candidates were moving forward. And then if there was a motion, it wasn't a consent item, it's under new business, there was a motion that said, I make a motion to appoint A, B, and C to the Planning and Zoning Commission. So that's why we did that again this time, but up to y'all.
I thought we did that during the meeting, we make a motion to vote.
That's what she's talking
Yeah,
about.
but they had a meeting here first. We had a work session first where we discussed every application for every board. Came up with a consensus on we're going to move these 2 or 3 or 4 forward. And then the motion was made to appoint all 3 or 4 to each board. So however you want to do it.
Of course, I know, I mean, I prefer that only because, well, it just makes a difference on who you may or may not vote for, depending on who already is on there when you're doing 1 by 1. I'm not saying that we can't do that, it makes this a little bit harder to me, but again, it's whatever y'all think.
Maybe we vote individually on each candidate.
Are we gonna go through all 4 candidates? So if we get 4, we say yes to 4, and, we only got 3 positions,
First, there's 3 that
then
are.
that's not really fair to the 4th person, is it?
We're doing it by the ones that put them in
We're gonna,
first.
everybody put them in first, I thought.
Right. Well, that's what you want to do.
Well, that's why
There's no
Andy said
rule
that.
that says that you have to put them that way. So if that's the case, and there's no rule that says that you have to do it in the order you receive. There's nothing that's stated,
Well,
posted.
you know, if you want to be fair, put all 4 names in, throw it in a hat, pull a name out. That would be a fair way.
Do you mean to put it in order? You mean?
No, just get all 4 people, put their name in a hat, draw the name out.
And that's the person that's on the board, you
No,
mean?
that's what we're gonna vote
That's
on.
a bad council decision.
Okay, well.
Bad council.
We're gonna vote. I mean, it's either that or how do you pick the order?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. That's why usually down here we talk as us as to what we want or who wants what, you know what I'm saying? As we did before, and then you can make a presentation on the dais is what we did before.
So you just want us to nominate some people? Is that what you're wanting?
No, I can't remember. I don't even remember the last time. You know what I mean, as far as how we decided to do. But we had discussed what this is about right here, is to have that conversation on people that we would want to see on
Well, the
there.
last time we did this, we had a consensus, and I was one here, it was you and April and Jennifer and me, and it was a consensus, and I didn't agree to it, and it got pushed through. That's why I don't want to do another consensus vote.
But, I mean, well, I guess-
Rita wasn't here, she had Ken was